If you are going to Malta soon and you want to have an amazing time, eating good food, doing cool things, seeing cool sights, then I got you. If you're new to my channel, then hi, welcome. I'm Sarah. I am an American living in London, and I have pretty much made it my entire personality, except for when I'm traveling, and then I make wherever I'm traveling to my entire personality. And this week it's Malta. I am no expert on Malta, but I did do a lot of TikTok research to prepare for my trip, and I also spoke to quite a few locals, so if you're visiting soon, I think I can save you some time in the planning process. Malta is also just a really cool place, so even if you're not planning a trip soon, you can get a vibe for what it's like and then maybe plan your trip in the future. My fiance and I had an amazing time. We celebrated my birthday. It was great, but even still, there were a few things that we would do differently next time, so let's get into all of it. First things first is the accommodation. Jake and I are normally big Airbnb people. We really like to cosplay actually living in the place that we're visiting, but we were looking for something around £150 per night, and at that price point, what we were seeing was a lot of really crusty Airbnbs or hotels, so we booked a hotel. We stayed at the Axe Odyssey Hotel in St. Paul's Bay. I saw a lot of people online say that it was a good area to stay in. The hotel can be all-inclusive if you want. We only got the breakfast, but it was nice to have that taken care of at least. It was a good breakfast. There are also quite a few hotel restaurants literally right outside the hotel that you can go to if you want. We tried 2 of them and they were okay. It was really nice to have a convenient option, especially because there wasn't a ton in the surrounding area. The hotel did have an awesome pool, and I'll show you videos of that later. However, if we were to do it all again, I don't know that we would stay here. I think we would try harder to find an Airbnb maybe close to a beach or in Valletta. There wasn't a lot going on in the area around the hotel, and I just felt very touristy, which I get it, I am a tourist, but I would rather feel like I'm having a more local experience, I guess. But if your intent is just to have a nice chilled out vacation by the pool, then this place was great. Anyway, that's my take on the accommodation, so let's get into the fun stuff. Day 1, my birthday, was our big sightseeing day. The weather was a little bit shaky in the morning, so it was a good day to go see some sights since we couldn't exactly tan by the pool. The first place we went to see, and the first place that I think should be on your itinerary, was Medina. They call it the Silent City, and we could see why. It was super quiet, super peaceful. They generally don't allow cars here unless you're a resident, so people were getting around on these horse-drawn carriages, which was kind of cool, and it was also featured in Game of Thrones. You may recognize Medina Gate. It was the entrance to King's Landing, so if you're a fan, definitely have to stop by here. If, while you're here, you find yourself in need of a beverage, Coogie's was a really pretty restaurant. It had this beautiful garden, beautiful terrace. I got a purple spritz. I do not know what was in it, but it was fantastic. I highly recommend. It may or may not have been 11 a.m. when we had these, but it was my birthday, so no one can say anything. One other thing to note about Medina is it is a lot smaller than we were expecting. Some people online were saying to spend a full day here in Medina, and we felt like we had kind of seen everything we wanted to see and gotten a drink within a couple hours, so we moved on to Rabat, which is a city just beside Medina. They actually used to be the same city. It was definitely more lively here. It was honestly just cool to wander around and see the architecture. You can tell there's so much history here. We didn't end up doing this, but you can go down and see the St. Paul catacombs or St. Agatha's crypt. If we had more time here, we definitely would have. From there, we got a Bolt, and side note, but Bolt is the best way to commute around Malta. Every time we ordered one, they were there in 2 minutes, and it was really reasonably priced, I thought, as well. But we caught a Bolt to Valletta, which is the main city that I've seen most people suggest visiting in Malta. You're definitely packing a lot into a short amount of time. Even though we did hit pretty much everything we wanted to, it would have been nice to do it a bit more leisurely. I would say maybe a full day for Medina and Rabat, and then a day or maybe even 2 for Valletta. Our Bolt driver on the way to Valletta was absolutely amazing. He gave us so many recommendations. We started out at the entrance to the city where there are the Upper Baraka Gardens, and you have the most insane views of the 3 cities. You can actually take a boat out to the 3 cities, which again is something I think we would have done if we had more time, but for this trip we just had to settle for the views. You can also see the saluting battery from here. It goes off every day at noon and 4, aside from Sundays, and it's completely free. From there we went to see the Parliament buildings and the Triton Fountain, both of which were super close to the Upper Baraka Gardens. We also got lunch nearby at a restaurant called Tribe. I don't think a single local was eating there, but we were very hungry and it was very good. After lunch, we kind of started wrapping our way around the city to hit everything we wanted to see, and I think the order we did things in was good. We saw the Hastings Gardens, very peaceful, lovely views. We saw the Basilica of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. We happened to have such a cool view of it from the street we were walking down. And we also saw Independence Square, which if you're an Instagram girly, you're gonna wanna come here because the red telephone booth and the blue doors, it's a vibe, right? You can thank me later. Again, it was super cool just to wander around and take it all in. There were a bunch of stray cats everywhere. A lot of them were just napping in the sun. Valletta is also completely surrounded by the sea, so it was just insanely beautiful, as you can imagine. Our last couple stops were Fort St. Elmo. We didn't go in because, you guessed it, we didn't have enough time, but the War Museum here is something that our Bolt driver recommended, so we would definitely do that next time. And then we started to wrap around the other side of the city and we saw the Lower Baracca Gardens. They were actually filming something here, which was kind of cool. Apparently Malta is a very popular filming location. Gladiator 2 was filmed here, one of the Jurassic Worlds. There's a long list. To conclude our Valletta exploration, we went to St. Lucia's Steps. Very beautiful. We actually had dinner reservations here, but at this point in time, we just needed to go home and regroup at the hotel for a little bit, and I'm very glad we did because we ended up going to such a nice restaurant in St. Paul's Bay. It's called the Venus Restaurant. We had such a lovely experience. The food was delicious. One of our local tips was that Malta has amazing Italian food and seafood, so I got the seafood pasta and chef's kiss. They also brought me cake and sang happy birthday to me. I have to say the people in Malta that we experienced were absolutely lovely. Like after the restaurant goers realized it was my birthday, they all cheersed me. I just don't think something like that would happen in London. People are very much in their own worlds in London, and in Malta it just felt very warm. So yeah, recommend Venus Restaurant for sure. We had an awesome day one. We packed a ton in. In comparison, day two was a lot quieter. We decided to spend most of the day just chilling by the pool. Our hotel had two pools, one for the kids and then one adults only pool, and you can probably guess which one we decided to go to. There was a bar up there, so we did some day drinking. Great vibes. The only reason that we left is because the pool didn't have any snacks, which was for the best because we ended up at another amazing restaurant called Zigimar. I'm telling you, the seafood in Malta is different. It is so fresh, so good. This place also felt very local, potentially even family run, and the views did not suck. We were there a little bit after the lunch rush cleared out, and they actually brought us complimentary sambuca shots after we had a couple glasses of wine and some drinks at the pool. So yeah, they sent us on our way a little bit drunk for sure, I'm not gonna lie. So one of the main things I would have done differently in Malta is go to more of Malta's beaches because there are so many and they all look incredible. But to close out our trip, we did at least go see the one closest to our hotel. It was called Coral Point Beach. It was of course lovely. There were some stray cat homes, very sweet. And yeah, it was a great way to close out our trip. If you're visiting Malta soon or just wanted to get a sense for what it was like, I hope this helped a little bit. I am so glad that we visited here. I do have a trip to Copenhagen planned for later in the summer, so if you like this kind of travel content, please make sure to like and subscribe. I do also have some videos planned sharing a little bit more about my life in London. So if you do have any questions about what life is like in London, how I moved here, anything really, please comment them and I'll do my best to answer them in my next video. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in and I'll see you next time.